Welcome to Combos from the Couch by LifeStance Health, where leading mental health professionals help guide you on your journey to a healthier, more fulfilling life. Welcome to another episode of Combos from the Couch. I'm Nicolette Lianza, and today I'm joined by psychotherapist Victoria Feinberg, and we're exploring the connection between fashion, mood, and mental health, and how sometimes as simple as what you put on in the morning could actually shift the way you feel. So, welcome, Victoria. So great to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I am a psychotherapist by day. So, my work focuses on helping people navigate relationships, anxiety, life transitions, and personal growth. Outside of that, I've always appreciated fashion as a form of self expression and creativity. I was honestly surprised to be invited into this podcast today, but the more I thought about it, it actually makes sense because both therapy and fashion are about, identity, authenticity, and how we present ourselves to the world. So I'm excited to explore how something as simple as getting dressed can affect confidence, mood, and mental well-being.
Yeah, definitely. And we know it can. I was complimenting you before we recorded of your lovely top. Very lovely, very fashionable. I decided today I was going to wear some power red, so to project myself a little bit more. And this is just the example of how what you wear can really influence your mood. So let's start with that. How can what we wear influence our thoughts, feelings, and even our behaviors?
What we wear can influence our thoughts, feelings, and behavior in ways that many people don't fully realize. Clothing isn't just something we put on our bodies, it's something we experience throughout the day. So, psychologically, our clothing can affect how we see ourselves. And when we wear something that feels authentic, comfortable, and aligned with who we often feel more confident, capable, or at ease. On the other hand, if we're wearing something that feels uncomfortable, inauthentic, or doesn't reflect us, it can affect our mood and our self-confidence throughout the whole day. There's also a concept in psychology, I don't know if you're familiar with, enclothed cognition,
Yeah,
which
tell us more about that.
it's a concept that suggests that clothing can actually influence our mental processes and behavior. For example, many people notice they feel more focused when they are dressed professionally or more creative when wearing something expressive or bold colors, right? Or more relaxed when they're dressed comfortably. So the clothing itself isn't magically changing us, it's influencing the mindset that we bring into a situation.
Definitely. And that's the key right there. It helps change our mindset, right? So
Yeah.
the clothes are just a vehicle to help us change that mindset for sure. So looking at that part right there, so can intentionally choosing what we wear really shift our emotional state? And I think what we're saying so far that yeah, it can, but if so, how?
Like as a therapist, I often remind people that self-care isn't only about what happens internally. Sometimes it's the small external choices that reinforce how we want to feel. So choosing an outfit intentionally can send a message, I matter. I'm showing up for today, for myself today. Of course, fashion isn't a cure for anxiety, depression, or low self-esteem, but it can be a tool. The way we dress can help us embody confidence, reconnect with our identity, especially during difficult times, and express parts of ourselves that may be hard to put into words. At its best, fashion becomes less about impressing others and more about creating alignment between how we feel on the inside and how we present ourselves to the world.
Definitely. You work out of our Tarrytown, New York office, which isn't too far from New York City, one of the fashion capitals of the world for sure.
Yeah.
And I know whenever I'm in the city, I appreciate so much just the fashion that I see just walking around on the streets and stuff like that. So I've always been intrigued, just depending on where you're at in the US or in the world, that the fashion specific to those places for sure. I'm a Midwesterner, so we definitely like our comfort and all the things. So what's one small thing listeners could do this week to start using their closet as a mental health tool?
I'd say don't dress for the day that you're having, dress for the day that you want to create.
Oh,
I
I
think
love that.
I
That's
think the
great.
biggest insight I'd like to leave listeners with is that fashion can be much more meaningful than we usually give it credit for. We sometimes dismiss clothing as superficial, but the outside, it's also what you're telling yourself about.
My gosh, Victoria, really appreciate having you on today. And I'm sure our listeners will definitely take a listen and recognize, maybe I need to do some shifting of my own, what I wear each day to maybe dress according to how I'd like to be feeling. So appreciate that little tip there. So thank
And
you. And I appreciate everything you shared today.
thank you for having me.
I'd also like to thank the team behind the podcast, Jason Clayton and Juliana Whitten. Thank you again for listening to Comments on the Couch. Take care, everyone.